I am Dr. Mimi Noda. I'm teaching piano and teaching Japanese also. Actually, Vincent was my Japanese student. We went to the study abroad. Now, today, I'd like to speak the change of the, women's rights in Japan. You may wonder what role females play in Japanese culture. Yeah, I'm qualified to speak on this because I'm from Japan. Yeah. Okay. Now, these are Japanese beliefs. Good wife, wise mother, men makes houses, women make homes. These are Japanese women's icons still now in the 21st century. And because these beliefs, Japanese women's independence has been suppressed. Okay. Now, brief history. After 12th century, the Kamakura era and Edo Tokugawa shogun era, you might have heard shogun. There's a restaurant, Shogun restaurant, but shogun era. And ended, that was feudal system. It's men's world. And women's world, just housemakers and mothers. And especially in daimyos, daimyo is like samurai. Samurai society, the women's world are just tools of politics. So if this daimyo's territory and this daimyo's territory, when they want to get along with each other, this daughter get married to them. But it's not a happy marriage. Marriage means like hostage. So the marriage, the daughter was required to tell what is going on in this territory, and always send letter. Yeah, so it was, well, anyway, absolutely not independent. But it means all women were always protected as weak people. Now, so please note about that history. Today, I'm going to speak about Constitution of the Empire of Japan, the Constitution of Japan, and Equal Employment Operation Law. So I will introduce this Constitution and law. Now, first one, the Constitution of the Empire of Japan. Shogun era has been ended, 1868. So until then, 250 years, Japan was closed. So we did not do the export, import. Yeah, but actually, someone was doing secretly. So, but officially, we are close to the country. Then, 1868, Japanese General Perry opened our country. So, since then, United States and Japan always has a relationship with each other. So, this constitution was the first constitution under the new government. And the government sent some scholars to Germany, and they studied German constitution and law, and we imitated the German constitution. And this one, the nation's right, nations refers only men, no women. It's not written about women at all. And men refers those who serving in military, paying taxes, and also educated. It means only the limited people that applied that law. And anyway, women had no right, and no voting right, of course, no political activity, no joining political parties, no educational chances, and not protected in their work. Yeah. So women could not be independent. always serving for men. Now, became a 20th century Constitution of Japan was made. 1945, World War II, we lost, we failure. And the United States came to Japan, and they helped to build new constitution. So the U.S. General Headquarters after World War II, they set a new constitution for the Japanese people. And in this, men and women have equal opportunity. Yeah, this is just written. The reality was quite different. But okay, first voting right for women, that was true. All political opportunities are allowed, that is true. And we could vote for female politicians. We voted. The female politician appeared first time in Japan. And educational opportunities for women. Actually, the education, we had school, but women could not go to the university, only men. And if women want to get education after elementary school, the middle school, the high school, that one, only private school, they had to go to private school. Means only rich people, rich daughter could get education. Yeah. Then protected in work, yeah, this was written and absolutely better than the first old constitution, but reality was still a little bit different. Yeah, in Japan, the employment and hiring process, this era is very, very unequal. Now, then, 1985, an equal employment operation law was finally set, and men and women have the equal rights, but the reality was different. Yeah, women were finally given equal rights, but they are still culturally oppressed. They are hired, the women are hired, full-time workers, but actually they are serve tea for the guest or her colleagues, or the very easy task, making copy or just making phone calls, like that. So then this law has been revised in 1997. It's just 20 years ago. And nowadays, it is much, much better. But it is still the reality that is far from the ideal. Now, the fact in 21st century, we don't have so many female CEO. CEO is always men. And not many female politicians. We have, but very few. And not many opportunity to work full-time for women because of the marriage. Yeah. In Japan, daycare facility is always shorthand. So when women want to work, even after their marriage and having babies, they have no place to ask to take care of their babies. If women are living close to her family, parents might be able to take care of her. But that is very lucky case, right? Yeah. So they have to give up to work full time. And what happened is they are patient to work just part-time work, yeah, part-time job. So this is the situation we have now, 21st century. Now, as you can imagine, with the culture being the way it was, men could have and actually did subject women to all forms of harassment, including sexual harassment. Now, sexual harassment, I jumped the topic, but the moral are different from the United States in regard to touching. So in Japan, no hugs, especially the men and women, absolutely no. Sometimes some people, they don't like to shake hands because it's touching, right? So what we do is just bow. Not like bow, but we just deeply bow. Ohayou gozaimasu, good morning. That is showing respect to other people, right? So anyway, I wrote no touching anywhere, yes, and no approach, any appearance. So I have never been told what I'm wearing from men or from men. Oh, Mimi, I like your dress. I've never been told. It's okay. If I am told, I feel, what? I immediately misunderstand it. He might like me. No, please, right? And I don't say it. Oh, I like your tie, because I know he might misunderstand me. So we don't approach anything. But between the women, it is okay. But whatever, and no question, any private matters, yes, yeah. But whatsoever, anything we feel or they feel uncomfortable, don't you think it's become harassment, right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now, I think it's not working, but this is Congress politician, very young person. Yeah. She is having a speech at Congress political meeting, and she was talking about she's a married woman, women's right, and daycare center facility, and how women should have full-time work. And while she was speaking, a man politician said very, very rude thing. And he said, speak after you have babies. And she has announced, she has publicly talked, she is having a hard time to have baby and trying to artificial insemination, is that correct word? And it was not successful. So having a baby is impossible for her. And everybody, she was very popular, and everybody knew, but a man politician said, speak like that after you have baby. It's very, very hard. And she was hurt. Then, and of course, media and other women could not forgive him. Then, now, eventually, this man said, and he is apologizing, I'm so sorry. And this became news. And all women, like, we became she's, okay, right? Okay, yeah. But that jeering happens all the time in Japan. Yeah. But this female politician did not say anything. Yeah. And she even smiled when, say after you have baby, she smiled. I'm sorry, this is not working. She smiled and just continued speaking. So, yes. Before this one, see, I don't see the arrow. No. Yeah. But anyway, she smiled. And so instead of standing up to the harassment, she reverted to her cultural upbringing and smiled. She was embarrassed. And she was among the very few women in that room because we don't have so many female politicians. Yeah. So that is happening all the time. And she's still young, and she could not say that. But elder female politicians, I have seen TV, and she said, someone said during, and she said, I'm speaking, and what did you say? Yeah, these young politicians should have said like that. But anyway, after this, she apologized. So we, all Japanese women, forgave him. So that is happening all the time anyway. Now, domestic violence, same thing. I'm sure that is not the problem in Japan, all over the world. More than 100,000 cases are reported in Japan. And police department said maybe more. 100,000 cases are reported. So maybe the women are scared to the men. They cannot report. So mostly from husband and boyfriend, and very, very, very often from their sons. And very often mother are killed, and father also, yeah. But when husband become violent, the mother and the children go to the shelter. But shelter, only 4 weeks they can stay. And after 4 weeks, they have to go somewhere. So that is a problem. Okay. Now, we have Imperial Family. Then, like England. And I always feel that is absolutely unfairness. In England royal family, the daughter, the princess, they are princesses, all until they die, right? But in Japan, no. Only a prince succeeds the family. So princesses will leave the imperial family when they get married. And all imperial family members, they don't have citizenship. Means they don't need to pay taxes because they are living by our taxes. It means no citizenship means they don't have family name. Yeah, we called prince blah blah blah, princess blah blah blah. Yeah, so no, only first name. Yeah, but when the princesses get married, they finally have citizenship, and she has to pay taxes, and she get family name. Family name means husband name. Yeah. In Japan, when we get married, we have to change to the husband name. Not, we cannot keep our maiden name. Now, women were trying to change that law, but I think that will be hard. Yeah. So then princesses, they absolutely don't say anything, always silent, acceptance. I've never heard any princesses said their opinion, no. Always they said, very calm, slow talking when they are, I cannot speak like about that, and yeah. So, well, but in Japanese history, emperor, there were female emperors. Nowadays, no, but long time ago, we have female emperor. But once female became emperor, they are not allowed to get married. Yeah. So why this happened in Japan? Yeah, it comes from the Japanese cultural history. Yeah, all Japanese people, even maybe me too, deep inside psychologically somewhere, predominance of men over women. Yeah. When I was young, when I was a child, my father already died. If my father said, this is red, right? If my father said, this is yellow, I would say, okay, Daddy, this is yellow, with rolling my eyes. we just followed to the father, men, because men, yeah. That is not only my family, that was men were stronger, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so, and yes, people believe that men are greater than women. Yeah, and sons are more important than daughters. Why? Because sons need to succeed the family name and family cemetery. That is another important thing. I don't know if the cemetery is important, but family cemetery, who will take care of? That is the first son, or if not first, anyway son, not daughters, right? Yeah, that is Japanese culture. Okay, now I put resolution. I think it will be hard to change the situation in Japan. It's absolutely getting better and close to the United States situation. But we still need big support from the government is necessary, like daycare center, we need more daycare center. And Japanese women will need to be brave and independent. And yeah, and women should not give up, always speak up, the unfairness at each occurrence. I just wrote, but if you speak up and report something, it might take many tasks. For example, you might be fired, and you might receive more harassment, and so unless you filed lawsuit. So that is, unfortunately, that is the Japanese women's situation. That's it. Some questions? Thank you.
English major, and as Dr. Mallory stated, the idea from our presentation this morning came when we were discussing our recent exposure to the Black Panther movie and the numerous amount of concepts and ideas that there were to talk about, and from it, the idea for a presentation on the roles of women and the emphasis and power that women have displayed in the Black Panther movie. This morning, I'm joined by Ameena Abdullan, a senior art major, who is an avid fan of the movie and is helping me present the ideas and depictions of the role of women in the movie.
Good morning, everyone. Black Panther presents all the women involved in the film as empowered, strong women who are determined to fulfill whatever goals they have. And T'Challa's role, his relationship to each woman in the film it's filled with a mutual respect as far as whatever. Sorry. T'Challa's mother, the all-female protective unit for him, his sister, all the women in the film are all treated with mutual respect. For instance, his relationship with Nakia, the perceived love interest, and she is one of the most powerful warriors in Wakanda. She's determined in her goals to protect other people outside of Wakanda, not just helping the people in her country. And she won't be swayed by some king trying to ask her to be his queen. There is a scene in the movie where they're walking through the marketplace and he's asking her, well, basically saying she'd be a great queen if she weren't so ambitious, and she goes to say that she'd make an excellent queen just because of her ambition. And she won't stop for what she wants to do, helping the women in Africa and other countries. And she's still seen as more than just the love interest. She's strong, she's intelligent. There is also Shuri. Yes, she's the little sister, and she's spunky. She's one of the most intelligent people probably in the world. She's a scientist. Even at the age she is, a respected scientist in her country, and she can still have fun. And I would say she's one of my favorite characters because of that. And then there's also the general of the what is it called? The Doromalaji. There we go. The general. Her name is Okoye, and she is dedicated to her nation to the point where nothing comes between that. There was a scene where, if anybody hasn't seen the movie, I'm sorry, but there's a scene where I guess the person she's, a love interest to, they're fighting and everything, and he asks her, would you cut me down for Wakanda? And she pulled her sword on him without a doubt. So I have respect for every woman in this film just because they don't back down from what they want, what they are here for. Their dedication to their nation comes before anything else. That,
Where the movie takes place? These kind of the movies in the United States and other countries?
no, the movie takes place in Africa, a fictional nation called Wakanda.
And what year?
What? There-
I would ask if you get any questions from the audience, if you could repeat your questions that we have in mind.
Oh, the question was, where did the movie take place? It's a fictional country in Africa named Wakanda.
The next part of the presentation will feature a couple of clips where Chadwick Boseman, Danai Gururi, and Lupita Nyong'o, the characters who play Black Panther and T'Challa, Okoye the General, and Nakia, the, if you will, for contextual purposes, the country's assassin, speak on the importance of the roles that they play, that the women play and are depicted in the movie.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be. Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
Wakanda offers us a glimpse into the world as it could be, self-determined and developed on their own terms without the interruption of colonialism, has figured out how to make the most of all its citizens. And so women are allowed to realize their full potential. And that's what Ryan wanted to show. And he committed to having that number of women around him. And they were all very specific, very individual, very powerful in our own ways, and therefore very effective and influential.
Show them who we are.
This is a nation at a very, very pivotal moment in its development. You know, they have some crucial questions to answer. And so Ryan really wanted this story to be led by those questions. You know, who am I and who are my people? And the women contribute to the answering of that question, which is the way the world is.
We are home.
Seeing these women, you know, seeing this Dora Milaje and Shuri, you know, these women who support him. He can't do it without them. He can't, you know, there is no king without a queen. You know, is the thought, the sentiment in African nations, you know. And so that queen is his mother, his sister, the all-female guard, you know. And behind the scenes, it's Ryan Coogler with his first AD, his director of photography, his costume designer, his production designer. So they are kings because of the queens.
My king.
Stop it.
Letitia lights up the room as soon as she walks in. I was there for her audition, and I was like, listen, all these girls are great, but what she has, you can't teach that. That's my input. Now you do whatever you want to do, but I'm just saying.
Remote driving system activated.
Wait, which side of the road is it?
For God's sake, just drive.
Okay, calm down.
She embodies, I think, a little sister should be in a movie like this, and she brings an aspect of T'Challa out that I love being able to show. You have the wisdom of the Queen Mother, and the fact that she's on the council. There's a feeling that she doesn't necessarily agree with my decision to go get Claw at this particular time. So there's a respect factor there, but then, I'm my own man. With Nakia, I love the fact that she has her own mind. And I have to deal with that as a man. Okoye allows you to have another dimension in how you operate, because she's so good at what she does that she's protecting me on another level. She's like another suit. It's a very rich experience in terms of the characters, and when you think about who's playing those roles and being beside them every day, it's fulfilling.
To have these characters that reflect that, have Shuri, this young, spunky, tech-savvy woman leading Wakanda's technological charge, that's powerful, and it's a really important image for young girls to get.
Black Panther is a world leader. That's a responsibility that other superheroes don't commonly have, that he has to look out for an entire nation.
Soon, there will only be the conquered and the conquerors.
The Dora Milaje are women who pledged their lives to the throne and to the security of the kingdom. Wakanda forever! My character, Okoye, is the general of the armed forces as a whole.
Okoye represents the old guard and tradition, while my character, Nakia, challenges tradition.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be.
Nakia was born to be a warrior. She was born with a warrior spirit.
I got into a disagreement. Made a bit of a mess.
Training was very, very interesting. The Dora have a way of fighting that was supposed to be inspired by moving as one. The Dora work together to take down somebody, like the fight we have with Killmonger.
Step into the spotlight.
Action's there. It's not your typical film. It's raw. It's real.
Step into the spotlight.
Don't freeze.
I never freeze.
The emphasis of these three women is that, as Lupita Nyong'o said, Wakanda's going through a very, very critical transition as the old guard and his father has been killed. And they're bringing in, the movie emphasizes the beginning of the new generation of the Black Panther. And each one of these women displays how critical this time period is in T'Challa's life. With Nakia, she's the free spirit, she's the rebel, and at the same time, she's the voice of transition. The voice that we can no longer keep this, as Claw depicts in his interrogation scene, we can no longer keep the assets of this El Dorado confined to this simple sphere that we've been living in for so long. But then you have Okoye, who emphasizes that at the end of the day, you have to return to Wakanda, and the principle is the protection of Wakanda. So these two voices, and one of my favorite scenes within the movie is just after Killmonger takes over the rights to the throne, where they have to play their roles. Nakia is the one who's allowed to go off and escape to try to bring in outside help, where Okoye's loyalty is to the throne and to the king, whether it's somebody who has rightfully been appropriated into the throne, such as T'Challa, or somebody who's come in and conquered the throne. As long as it's within the laws of Wakanda, she's bound to the throne, she's bound to tradition. But she also envies the fact that Nakia is able to escape these boundaries, these chains, these limitations that do not allow her to feel the way she wants to. And Shuri is my favorite character because she shows the intricate balance between modernization and tradition. For those who have seen the movie, every time you see Shuri, she's in a modernized adaptation of Wakanda wear, or she's in a modern apparel. She looked like she could actually be a student here at Albany State when she's first introduced at the beginning of the movie. And the problem that Shuri incites into T'Challa's life is that she seems to be too in tune with the modernization and the technological advancements that she's gained from the outside world, as opposed to adhering and incorporating more of the traditionalized values within Wakandan society. Being the innovator, the front runner, and the technological expert, you have to understand studies that have been done outside of the country. And what she shows is there's only so much you can gain from inside one region. You have to be able to look outside of the traditions, outside of what's being allowed in your sphere in order to grow and promote that growth in other countries and in your own nation. Each three of these women emphasize that this modern day story of El Dorado has the place where women are allowed to achieve their ultimate potential. As Lupita Nyong'o says, all of these women were born to be warriors, but each one of them actually has a subset role that comes out within the film. Nakia ultimately becomes the ambassador for Wakanda within the United Nations. Because she has that experience outside of Wakanda, she has that world experience of what the world is going through and not just what Wakanda is protecting for themselves. Okoye is the voice of reason, and she's also the symbol of strength within the nation. Even though Okoye is mostly attached to T'Challa, for her to be the general of the Dora Milaje, she's the reason that T'Challa knows he's allowed to leave, he's able to leave Wakanda at any moment's notice. And the country will be protected by women, not just the men who inhabit the border areas. And for Shuri, it's the fact that women have the potential to be the front runners in the revolution. Everything technological, everything shown and depicted within the movie was created by Shuri's hands. T'Challa's new suit, the vibranium technology, the vibranium medicine, all of it was created, enhanced, and perfected by a woman and a team of women scientists. So within Black Panther, there are so many roles that women are playing that you may not catch at first glance. The action scenes are amazing, the fight scenes are absolutely wonderful, but it's the subtle conversations, the quiet moments of reflection that you have to catch in between all of the action scenes that you truly get the emphasis of the dual roles that the women play within the Black Panther movie. I'd like to thank you all, and if there are any questions at this time, please feel free to ask.
Well, let's give them a round of applause. For such a wonderful presentation.
Tekyra Waller. I am an English major, history minor here at the unthinkable Albany State University. The title of my presentation is I Saw God and It's a Woman, a Survey of Divine Feminine. And this was I won't say a passion project, but it was driven from a poem I had written in a creative writing class. So I would like to share that all with you before I start. The title of the piece is called She. And it goes something like this. It is I who creates and recreates again. I am she who has made thee and not you yourself. I breathe life into them, yes, them man and woman, telling them to arise and claim dominion. I sit high and I look low. I am she who makes the world run its course. I cause the people to tremble and the stars to show gratitude. I cause the planets to align. I cause the cosmos to show reverence and the universe to grant favor. I teach right from wrong. I am the one to smite you with the look. I am the one who is all powerful, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. It is I. Who am I to give up this power? Who am I to bow down? Who do you mistake me for? Am I your peasant? Am I your field hand? No. Hell no. I am she. Without me, there is no he. Your very being lies within my gates. I am she who has made them. Thank you. So the divine feminine, I guess you're asking what exactly is that? Suzanne Kingsbury, who is an author, but she's also this writer who teaches feminine writers to like write within the divine feminine. And her definition is, it's an energy that has been given to us since ancient times. It is the aspect of the self associated with creation, intuition, community, sensuality that is felt rather than thinking sense in collaboration. It is the connection to the parts of one consciousness that evokes nurture, intuition, and empathy. It is not based on gender. So I guess you're thinking, if it's the divine feminine, how is it not based on gender? It's because in male and female is something called the animus and anima. The animus is related to those things masculine, and the anima is that which is feminine. And the divine feminine is more frequently associated with women because those things that is evoked in that study is found in women, because it's usually suppressed in men to be in touch with their emotions and, you know, to cry and to express themselves if they want to play with dolls or if they want to dress up or whatever it may be. Anything that is feminine in a man is usually suppressed. So for them to operate within a divine feminine, it usually takes them a little while and for them to be conscious of exactly what it is. So according to Carl Jung, and he's a Swiss psychologist who like specializes in the archetype of women and the anima and the anima, he describes an archetype as the first original model upon which all other similar universe, archaic patterns and images are based. And these are molds and models that we can find in everyday life, in literature, in movies, stuff such as like the matron and the mother and the queen, the lover, the wise woman, the witch, even the bitch, the evil person. All these molds of what women are described as, it is based on his definition of what an archetype is. And the archetypes that I'll be addressing today are the queen, the mother, the lover, and the wise woman. The queen is someone who represents loyalty, sovereignty, and the matrimonial devotion. This particular archetype feels incomplete without her lover. These women are attracted to the powerful and in-command men and are completely devoted to him and his personal goals. So her strength is devotion, her weakness is jealousy and wrath. And Hera is an ancient Greek goddess. And based on a book that we read in Dr. Mallory's class, her story is more interesting now because the story that we read put a spin on it. And they say the reason why she is jealous and the reason why she goes off and killing people is because of her husband, Zeus. Zeus is not faithful. Zeus sleeps with whoever he wants to. So because she is the queen and because she embodies these qualities, oh no, this is my man, so I'm going to separate whoever's trying to separate what I love. The mother, we can use Isis as an example. She is dominant. She represents maternal instincts, the hopes to recreate life and to provide substance to those around her. Her strengths are nurturing and compassionate, and her weakness is self-neglect and not letting her children go. Lover, of course, is the great Aphrodite. This woman represents the sexual energies and the want to act on those emotions. The lover inspires stimulating conversations, intimacy, sexuality, and creativity. Last but not least, the wise woman, Lilith. This is kind of my favorite. This archetype is also known as the sage. The wise woman is aware of worldly knowledge and strategies. They are drawn to powerful men, but these men have to stimulate them mentally. The wise woman is also practical and competitive, and she's my favorite woman because a lot of people think that Eve was the first created woman, but it was actually Lilith. And the reason why she's not taught is because she questioned her placement. I'm not going to stand behind you. I'm your equal. I'm going to question what's going on. If I want to do something, I'm going to do just that because we're equal. You're not my controller. You're not my father. I am your woman. You are my man. We are equal. So I think that's why I like her the most. So her strengths are intelligence, independence, and strength. Her weakness is detachment emotionally and indifferent to what other people may feel about her. These are modern representations of the 4 archetypes I talked about. On the end, we have Michelle Obama. She is the embodiment of the queen. She's regal, she is poised, she's beautiful, she's articulate. She is everything that the queen is supposed to be. Next, we have Kerry Washington, and I chose her because her character, Olivia Pope on Scandal, is the embodiment of the wise woman. Olivia is smart, but her men, the president and Jake Ballard, they had to be equal to her. They had to stimulate her. They had to be on the same wavelength. The next person, her name is Esther Rolle, and she plays Florida Evans on a sitcom Good Times. And this is a mother. She sacrificed everything for the betterment of her children and her husband. It's based in the city, and it's during the 70s, so it's a lot of racial conversation, political conversation, economic, everything is going on in this show, but it is Florida who is able to nurture her children and even nurture her husband in such a trying and troubling situation. And last but not least is actor Kim Cattrall, and she is from Sex and the City, and she plays the character Samantha. And if you don't know, Samantha is the fun girl, the girl who is the lover. She is very aware of her sexuality and does not apologize for it. Okay, so this is a poem by Nikki Giovanni called Ego Trippin', and I felt that this would culminate my whole presentation.
I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescent and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine, perfect light. I am bad. I sat on the throne drinking nectar with Allah. I got hot and sent an ice age to Europe to cool my thirst. My oldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birth pains created the Nile. I am a beautiful woman. I gazed on the forest and burned out the Sahara Desert. With a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes, I crossed it in 2 hours. I am a gazelle, so swift, you can't catch me. For a birthday present when he was 3, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My strength flows ever on. My son Noah built New Ark, and I stood proudly at the helm as we sailed on a soft summer day. I turned myself into myself and was Jesus. Men intone my loving name. All praises, I am the one who would say. I sowed diamonds in my backyard. My bowels deliver uranium. The filings from my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip, even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round off the earth as I went. The hair from my head thinned and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky.
Put this on, okay? And thank you for coming. And start thinking about what you want to present next year. It's not just about women, it's about everybody. Thank you for coming. And please, there are plenty of cookies in the back. Take some home, okay? Thank you so much. True Power.